Someone came to Ibn Mas'ud and said, I recite the full Quran in one night. And he says, أَهَذٍ كَهَذِي شَعْرٍ, that are you reciting it the way you recite poetry? That does have a way of reciting poetry really quick, you know. So what they say is karaha. It's makruh to read the Quran for the sole purpose of only reading the Quran and not with the intention. And I know the hadith is there, that alif, lam, mim, and the other virtues will remain itself. But the point that Ibn Mas'ud is saying, that reflect upon it. And what the scholars have also said as part of an inference from the kind of legal perspective is where the Quran talks about, at least engages in some sort with the non-Muslim, with the mushrikeen. One of the points it makes is أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ, that do they not heed the verses of the Quran? And what the scholars have said is when somebody merely recites the Quran without reflecting on it, they say فِيهِ نوع تشبه بالكفار, that there's a sense of tashabbuh that comes through. So one, even though he cannot understand the Quran, should at least have the intention. This is the point I'm trying to make. The intention of trying to understand Arabic or trying to understand the Quran in some way. I know everyone has will have their own particular needs and whatnot, but it's trying to at least make that effort. Yes, to make that effort in engaging with the Quran in the way the Sahabas did, in the way the Tabi'een did. And I'm just going to give you a quick example that I came across in one of the texts, and I thought it's very relevant to how the Sahaba and the Tabi'een looked at the Quran. There's so many examples that I just want to suffice on one because it's a pretty large one, but it just explains the attitude that the early Tabi'een and the Sahabas had with regards to the Quran. Now it's a story about the famous Tabi'een. He's called Qais ibn Ahnaf. He migrated or he became Muslim after the Prophet ﷺ, and they say that in his gathering someone was reading the Quran, and they came across the verse لَقَدْ أَنزَلْنَا إِلَيْكُمْ كِتَابًا فِيهِ ذِكْرِكُمْ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ, that we have revealed to you a text, the Quran, in it is your mention, do you not thus heed? And he stopped. He goes, hey, the Quran actually has a mention of me, bring the Quran. And he starts reading the Quran. Why? Because it's a living text. He needs to impersonate the text. Yes, he needs to embody the text in the way the Sahaba and the Tabi'een did and the Prophet ﷺ did. So he stopped. He ordered the Quran and he starts reading, saying, let me see what the Quran mentions about myself. So the first verse that he comes across is كَانُوا قَلِيلًا مِنَ اللَّيْلِ مَا يَهْجَعُونَ وَبِأَسْحَارِهِمْ يَسْتَغْفِرُونَ وَفِي أَمْوَالِهِمْ حَقٌّ لِلسَّائِلِ وَالْمَحْرُومِ. Just a free translation, that they would sleep but a little at night, and at the suhoor time, which is the pre-dawn time, they would seek pardon or seek maghfirah or forgiveness, and in their wealth is a right distributed for the beggars and for the deprived. Then he moved on and he comes to another verse, تَتَجَافَى جُنُوبُهُمْ عَنِ الْمَضَاجِعِ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا وَمِمَّا رَزَقْنَاهُمْ يُنْفِقُونَ, that their sides do not meet the beds, as in they don't sleep. Yes, they spend that time at night what? Invoking the Lord, خَوْفًا وَطَمَعًا, in hope and in fear. Yes, and they spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he moves on and he reads another verse, يَبِيتُونَ لِرَبِّهِمْ سُجَّدًا وَقِيَامًا, that they spend their nights in sujood, in prostration and standing up. He stops and then he reads again, الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ فِي السَّرَّاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ وَالْعَافِينَ عَنِ النَّاسِ وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ, that those amongst the believers are those who spend in easiness and in hardship, as in when they have affluence or when they're in poverty, when they have money, when they don't have money, they still spend in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَالْكَاظِمِينَ الْغَيْظَ, and those who literally drink and abstain from getting angry. Yes, they hold their anger and they forgive people. وَاللَّهُ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. He stops and then he reads another verse, يُؤْثِرُونَ عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ وَلَوْ كَانَ بِهِمْ خَصَاصَةٌ. In short, he reads all these texts and then he starts and he goes, I know myself, I am not amongst these people. Then he flicks again to see whether he can find his mention. Then he comes across descriptions of a different type. Descriptions that I shall just give a few examples of. إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا إِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ وَيَقُولُونَ أَإِنَّا لَتَارِكُوا آلِهَتِنَا لَشَاعِرٍ مَجْنُونَ, that they said, when it was said to them that there is no God but Allah, yes, they became arrogant. They became arrogant, saying, what's this? And they said that shall we leave our idols for a retarded poet, Sha'ir Majnoon, as they described the Prophet. In another verse, وَإِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَحْدَهُ إِزْمَأَجَّتْ قُلُوبُ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ وَإِذَا ذُكِرَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ إِذَا هُمْ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ. That when the mention of God is taken, then their hearts somehow compress. They feel uneasy about listening to the Quran, about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when somebody else is mentioned, then they're more than happy and their hearts are more than embracing to entertain such discussions. So he moves on and he says, I still haven't found myself within this. In the end, he comes to a verse, the last verse, which is وَآخَرُونَ اعْتَرَفُوا بِذُنُوبِهِمْ خَلَطُوا عَمَلًا صَالِحًا وَآخَرَ سَيِّئًا عَسَى اللَّهُ أَن يَتُوبَ عَلَيْهِمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. That and amongst them, and others amongst them, who accept their sins, اعْتَرَفُوا بِذُنُوبِهِمْ, they have mixed their good deeds with some bad deeds. It is hoped that Allah will forgive them. Inna Allah ghafurur rahim. He stops at this and he goes, this is me. This is me. And the point I'm trying to make from this story is, from this parable is, this event, is that this is how they saw the text. That it was something living, something that they saw themselves having to emulate and seeing that as a daily inspiration within their lives. This is the key point and the key purpose behind this text, and I feel is the message of today, is how can we take our interaction and our relationship with the Quran a step further. Inshallah. Is everyone ready to do this? Inshallah. It's about giving the Quran the centrality. I cannot stress this enough. People talk about how people have deviated and this and this. What I'm saying is, inshallah, thumma inshallah, with the sincerity that is needed to approach the Quran. With the sincerity that is needed with the Quran. Anyone who studies the Quran with the intention of his own benefit, yes, not to disprove others, but for his own benefit, yes, for his own tajziyah, for his own muhasabah, yes, then inshallah, thumma inshallah, I see no reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala won't guide this person and uplift him. Inshallah. Is everyone ready for this? And inshallah, just a quick point to make again, is that our scholars of the past, just to bring it in a historical context, our scholars in the past have understood the significance of this. Yes, the first person who I can see as the iconoclast who attempted to bring the Quran was Shah Waliullah Muhaddis al-Dahlawi to the society. He translated the Quran into Farsi, into lay Farsi that everyone could understand. And it moved on till the Akabir of the ulama Deoband, who have made one of the most formidable contributions to tafsir, to the Quran, even to Urdu literature, in the vast richness that it now includes with regards to serving the Quran and the ulum al-Quran. Their names can come forth, inshallah. And just a quick concluding point, if Maulana Ibrahim doesn't mind, is that Shaykh Maulana Yusuf Mutala's translation of the Quran is being commissioned and should be out sometime soon. I don't know how long it's going to take. And another one is by Dr. Mahmood Chandia in English that should be coming out very soon too. So as we can see that there is a process, an evolution. And I think all of us should recognize this, and all of us ought to, or at least should, make the very little attempt in at least trying to bring the Quran closer into their lives.